your boy Roy Jones Jr. and right now you're tuned into World Combat Sports. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, you're listening to World Combat Sports. What's good? It's the beginning of the week, and I got to give a shout out to everyone that's at work. You know what I'm saying? Getting it in. The ones that's at home. The families that's out here making it, preparing for the holidays. Salute to you. You know what it is, man. This holiday season combined with the pandemic, it's tough. It's been a hard year. But, you know, today's the 14th. We almost out, bringing in 2021 and hope to God. Look, when I say I hope to God, 2021 brings us a better year, you know, with a new CIC at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. We just hope for change. You know what I'm saying? We just hope for that change so we can get back to some type of normality, some type of civility, that we can focus and concentrate and feel good. The vaccines are coming out down here in the GA. I don't know if y'all heard, but the vaccines are coming out down here. And to be honest, I'm not looking forward to the vaccine. I just don't know what's in it. Can somebody tell me what's in the vaccine? What's going on, Tone? Salute to you, bro. Appreciate you being first in the building. You know what it is, man. Always appreciate the support, especially from the regulars. You know what I'm saying? The ones that frequent WCS. But can somebody tell me what's in the vaccine? Because it's coming out. It's already, coming out. It's going to the hospice and nursing homes first. I don't know why. I know they say the older people are more, vulnerable to pick it up, and their immune system is a bit more fragile, susceptible to not be able to combat the virus. But hey, I'm just curious to know when they're gonna basically filter it out to the civilian pop, and the reaction is supposed to have some side effects to it. So that's my main concern right there. King Mitch in the building. What's good, man? Hey, salute to you, man. Thanks for pulling up. My title, Spence on the verge of cleaning out 147. All right. Spence has been on record now, his saying that he's on the verge of cleaning out 147. And of course, I just had to get in right quick, do the intro, but of course I want to bring y'all to my thumbnail, because something's going on right here. Something's going seriously wrong. Y'all know I'm right. And if y'all think I'm wrong, I'm still right, because y'all know it deep down inside too. Y'all know something ain't right. Spence has said that he's on the verge of cleaning out the 147-pound division, that he fought better foes than Crawford. He's fought better foes than Crawford. Now, is this inspiring or on your resume? I just need some clarity, God damn it. Is this inspiring or on your resume? I need to know the location and the whereabouts of these people that you're talking about that's better than Crawford. Because if by chance you have faced individuals that's better than Crawford, and they're not ranked in the top pound for pound list, and I say again, and they're not ranked in the top pound for pound list, how are we supposed to respect what you're talking about? Are you talking about Jamel Charlo? Are you talking about somebody that you can say you've been in the ring with in sparring? Because if you have, we always hear time and time again that boxers step in with heavier opposition, you know what I'm saying, in sparring, training, or whatever. And we've heard that even with Spence. Floyd Mayweather has, reiterated that. And I respect it, okay? I respect that, in sparring, sometimes you go spar heavier guys. I understand. But if by chance that you fought better guys than Crawford, were they on the top pound for pound list? I'm talking about from 3 to 1. Were they Canelo? Were they Inoue? Who? I mean, let's just skip over it. Were they Alexander Usyk? Who are we talking about? Because I'm puzzled. Because on 1 pound for pound list, ESPN has Crawford number 1. Then the Ring has Crawford number 3. BWAA has Crawford, I believe, is number 2. But where are these individuals, these bodies located? Somebody need to talk to Spence, man. I'm a bit puzzled. I'm a bit bewildered at the way he's been acting lately. Seriously. If you're about to clean out, or you're on the verge of cleaning out the 147-pound division, so why are you acting like you're not even trying to entertain the fight? What's going on, Dane in the building? Sir Ken in the building, salute. So welcome back, sports. Salute to the wrenches and salute to the chat. Smash the like button. All of that, I appreciate it each and every time. Real talk. Can somebody explain to me where these opponents at right now? I mean, I'm just curious. Like, where are these opponents? Crawford is top pound for pound. Spence say he has fought better foes than Crawford. So I'm assuming in the ring. But when it comes to Spence right now, I think he may be talking about on the street or in sparring at the carnival. I'm not sure where he's talking about, because if by chance we have individuals out there that's supposed to be in the top pound for pound list, but somehow, some way they have been prohibited or they have been ostracized, banned, whatever the case may be. Is there any way we can get a search and rescue to locate these individuals so we can so let me know so I can go give them an interview, because this would be a damn breaking story. If we have individuals that's out there that's better than Crawford per Spence narrative, we need to meet these people. Seriously, we need to meet them. Is it Sean Porter? Because we don't know if Sean Porter better than Crawford until he steps through the ropes. We don't know that. Is it Kell Brook? Are you saying Kell Brook is better than? Because you can't say that because Crawford stopped him in 4. I mean, I'm trying to. Is it Vasily Lomachenko? I mean, shit. I mean, what are we talking about, Crawford? I got to go to Omaha, Nebraska. What are we talking about, Crawford? Do you know these individuals Spence is talking about? Because I'm bleeding. You know what I'm saying? I am bleeding right now with curiosity to know what the hell Spence is going through right now. Somebody provide this man some help. Because if you're not trying to make the fight with Crawford and everything he does, you want to shoot it down and make the fans disinterested, then how are you on the verge of doing anything except talking? You're just doing talking, you know? I mean, at the post-fight presser, that was the perfect time for you to say, now that I've defeated Danny Garcia, now it's time for me in 2021. I plan on fighting 3 times. And yes, you know, the elephant in the room that's in every majority of the boxing conversations and talking points is, when me and Terrence Crawford is going to fight. We're going to fight in 2021. I'm going to make sure of that. Then we would have been a bit happier to understand we have this to look forward to in 2021. We was like, okay, cool. He said he's going to fight him in 21. Fine. That's what we have to look forward to. But he's up there talking crazy, man. Dude, I'm not going to, as much as I want to go in on him sounding loopy, I'm just saying, like, damn, Spence, I don't know what he here for. He said he didn't want to talk. He ain't need me, so why he here? I don't go to none of his fight. Why somebody asking Crawford why he here? I don't know why he here. Anybody know what he? I mean, come on, bro. What is it gonna be? Do you want to fight, or don't you want to fight Crawford? Because you say it's not going to be made in social media, and you ain't trying to make it outside of social media either. Then you talk to these media outlets, and then you're up here saying that you're on the verge of cleaning out 147. You have to show and prove, man. You have to provide us with some action. We have to bridge the gap that we have. We don't want to go to 2022. We don't want to go through the entire calendar year of 21 without no Spence Crawford talk. I'm talking about just a talk. I'm just a talk. I know people want Manny Pacquiao, and it's a big potential that fight may happen. Okay, but check this out though. It's a huge potential this shit might go down in 2021. Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao. But what the people really want to see is you in the ring with Crawford to establish who is the best pound for pound in the welterweight division. Because let's just say, for instance, scenario wise, if Errol Spence defeats Terrence Crawford, he should move. He should make some type of adjustment in the pound for pound rankings. That's no doubt about it. There should be a shift of positions in the pound for pound rankings. Absolutely. Just like Teofimo Lopez defeat Vasily Lomachenko, who was number 2. So they moved him into number 6, and then Vasily right beside him in number 7. Because no way they can give separation in that. That would be against whatever moral principle that they go by when it comes to boxing. What 2% that they abide by. You know what I'm saying? They got to keep Vasily Lomachenko on the pound for pound list. So therefore, Terrence Crawford is not even right next, brushing shoulders with Errol Spence. He's not even brushing shoulders with Errol Spence on the pound for pound. There's a fighter in between Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. So if by chance he defeats Bud, he moves past Oleksandr Usyk, or they move Oleksandr Usyk up and then keep Errol Spence right behind Usyk, and then put Crawford behind Errol Spence. How does that work? And then if Bud Crawford defeats Errol Spence, which he would, he's going to defeat Errol Spence. Where does he go? If Errol is sitting at number 5 right now, and Terrence Crawford, this is the ring pound for pound, right? And Terrence Crawford is sitting at number 3. ESPN have Terrence Crawford number 1. I understand that. But on the ring, they have him at number 3. So therefore, if Terrence Crawford defeats Errol Spence, does he move up any higher than where he's at? Being that he defeated an individual on the top pound for pound list, does it move him past Naoya Inoue? You know what I'm saying? Because he's already a 3-division champion like Inoue. He's already a 3-division champion. But if he defeats Errol Spence, then you're talking about someone who's a unified champion and also on the pound for pound list. It's not too many opponents that Inoue at this point in time can say that he defeated on the top pound for pound list. That has to count for something. If you're on the pound for pound list and you defeat somebody on the pound for pound list, that should adjust your position, advance you to a higher standing. Period. That only makes sense, right? We don't have to go to math class for that shit. That should make sense. What's going on, Andrew? How you feel, man? Ghost 81, what's good? What's popping? Lawrence William, what's up? Salute to everyone that's in the building. Get this smoke. Peace, everybody. What's good? TJ Sports, Team Spence. Salute. You know, we all good, TJ. You can be Team Spence. It's all good, my brother. King Mitch. If Spence beat Crawford, he is pound for pound number one. If Crawford loses, he's still top 10 easy, in my opinion. Okay, let's just break this down a little bit. Let's dissect what you just mentioned. So Crawford remains top 10, easy. But if Spence beat Crawford, he's top pound for pound. On which pound for pound ranking? Are we talking about ESPN? That is an attachment to Top Rank? Or are we talking about the Ring Mag, that Golden Boy, you know, Oscar runs and shit? You know, it's because right now he has Canelo Alvarez. Now, I've said it before, King Mitch. I've said it before. What is the criteria that allows someone to move ahead? And I've also mentioned it's not too many divisions that's out there. They have two individuals that's on the pound for pound list. All right. Before, Vasily Lomachenko was the only lightweight on the pound for pound list. Now you have Teofimo Lopez. For a long time now, we've had both Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Now, I know people going to come out their mouth and say, but what about Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin? Listen to me. Gennady Golovkin should have been off that motherfucker a long time ago. And he ain't trying to fight Gennady Golovkin. But they they put him at the back door of the top 10, number 7, number 8, number 9, number 10. You know what I'm saying? The Boxers Writers Association of America, I believe, has Gennady Golovkin number 10. But we're talking about two top pound for pound guys in the top 5. Because before Vasily Lomachenko lost, Errol Spence was sitting at number 6. Now that Vasily's lost, they move him outside the top 5, adjust the positions, and now Errol Spence is 5, number 5. Alexander Usyk's 4, Terrence Crawford 3, 2 is Inoue, and then number 1 is Canelo Alvarez. That's on the ring, right? How if Errol Spence defeats Crawford? He's pound for pound number 1. How does that work? Please drop your comments. How does that work? How does the criteria work when Canelo Alvarez has basically fought in heavier divisions? Isn't the heavier the division, the more notoriety you get? You know what I'm saying? When the heavyweight division comes along, isn't it supposed to be the division that runs boxing? The heavyweight division. And most of the time, don't you see the heavier divisions on the pound for pound list? Apart from a man Juan Estrada, I'm just saying, most of the time you see heavier divisions. Let's just say 35 on up, okay? For the sake of Vasily Lomachenko, let's say 35 on up. We see it, right? Inoue, if Inoue wasn't a multi-division champion, I don't think he'd be on the pound for pound list. Serious. I don't think he'd be on the pound for pound list if he wasn't a multi-division champion. But how does, going off what Mitch said, how does, if Errol Spence defeats Crawford, he moves past Alexander Usyk, he moves past Terrence Crawford, old position at number 3, he moves past Naoya Inoue, and he moves past Canelo Alvarez into the number 1 slot. How does that work? What's going on, Michael? What's good? What's good? Salute, man. I have Canelo at number 1, Crawford number 2, Spence number 3. Okay, I like interaction. So TJ Sports. How do you have Spence in front of a 3-division champion? How do you have him in front of Naoya Inoue? You cannot just jettison the fact on what Inoue has been able to accomplish in his career. How do you have him in front? And Spence is just a single division unified champion. What am I missing with Spence? Seriously, what am I missing, y'all? Like, why do y'all want to hurry up and put your hands on his back and push him above in front of the line? Like, come on, man. Okay, Kell Brook. Okay, man, I get that shit. But come on, man. Like, how are you all catapulted just because he has the IBF and the WBC belt? What else is there that you all are labeling or are basically administratively placing into his book, his portfolio, that allows him to get this sense of urgency to move ahead of the pound for pound list without the credentials? Without the credentials. Kell Brook, he went over there to his backyard, and picked up the title. I got it. Totally understand. So then we get to the Sean Porter. Sean Porter is a dog. We respect Sean Porter. How many divisions have Sean Porter won a championship in? He's been the IBF and the WBC welterweight champion, right? So therefore, Errol Spence defeating Sean Porter after defeating Danny Garcia for the vacant WBC, looking okay against Jordinas Ugas, whatever. How are y'all providing these accolades? Like, are y'all just trying to say, Terrence Crawford, we're just gonna measure his greatness at welterweight when the man was undisputed at 140? I mean, what y'all talking about? Like, how can you just weigh in on Terrence Crawford at a single division when he moved up from Unify up to 47 and faced a champion off the rip? But Errol Spence, like I've reiterated before, Errol Spence has been in this division for a length of time where, in my opinion, by the time Terrence Crawford came up to the 147-pound division, shit, Errol Spence should have been gone already. Yeah, I said it. Errol Spence should have been gone already. Errol Spence should have been somewhere at 60. The only reason Errol Spence wasn't at 60 because he wasn't ready to move. Errol Spence should have been at 54 at least. How long has he been in the welterweight division? And then come Terrence Crawford. He's calling out Errol Spence, and Errol said, get a belt. Okay, he gets a belt facing Jeff Horn. And people say, well, he should have went the IBF route and challenged Spence. Spence wouldn't have fought Errol Spence right off the back. He wouldn't have did it, y'all. If he really wanted it, he would have been doing like Teofimo Lopez did. Teofimo's been saying, hey, I plan on moving up to 140 and I want to fight for the unification. You know what I'm saying? He just let it be known. And then, Josh Taylor, he's like, I have no problem, stepping in and facing, Teofimo Lopez if he planned on moving up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's confirmation there. But this bullshit I'm hearing that Errol Spence, man, has so many people gassing him. He's been in division longer than Crawford. Crawford has more division to his resume, but yet people would say, hey, if he defeats Crawford, he goes top pound for pound. No, the hell he doesn't. He doesn't move to the top pound for pound. Stop saying that shit. How are we to respect boxing as a whole, as an entire entity? Been in the combat game longer than majority of the combat sports that's in existence. How are you going to tell me that Errol Spence beat Crawford, he moves in top pound for pound? How? Some of these pound for pound lists, they have Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury in there. So the fucked up thing about how that all works out is that you want to take them as being competent individuals that's freaking voting on this shit, right? But how in the hell can Deontay Wilder be a champion for as long as he was? He gets defeated by Tyson Fury. Now, all of a sudden, Tyson Fury's in the pound for pound. So I'm getting sick and tired of how people are elevating individuals to a position, but yet they're not elevating that one individual when they're reigning, when they're defending, when they're doing what the heck they're supposed to do. But yet the person that you want to defeat that individual, boom, it happens. Now all of a sudden it's glory. But before, that person haven't fought nobody. Crawford ain't fought nobody. He ain't fought nobody. But yet he been knocking them all out. Oh, he's supposed to do that. Well, what is Errol Spence supposed to do? What is he supposed to do? My question, what is Errol Spence supposed to do to catapult him in the top pound for pound list besides being admired by the culture, enamored by the culture, accepted by the culture? What else is he supposed to do when it comes to boxing? When I look in the index with Errol Spence, I need to see more. Because when I start to turn those pages, I want to be able to say, okay, he had this, and this. Okay. All right, this, and this. All right. I need to have line by line that I can reference his damn achievements and goals and the objectives that he put out there. And he answered all that shit. Today, before we close out the 2020, I need for all of you to understand one thing. When you say more is better, you cannot just exclude that when it comes to boxing. More is better. More is better. I'm going to explain to you right now how that's the case. If a person has more than one belt, they're unified, it's more presentable. They have more of a value in the sport, right? Their Wall Street, their stock, their brand is elevated because they're the unified champion. All right, we're just talking about belts. Let's go to more is better again. Divisions. Divisions matter because if by chance, you use a 2-division champion, you moved up to your 3rd division, that comes with you to the front door. All of that, what you have done before, comes right with you into the front door with your 3rd division. When they announce your name for a fight, they say former 2-division world champion, and they announce your name. So we cannot sit up here and act like we're unsure if more isn't better when it comes to division, just because people want to say, well, who did they fight? Divisions are divisions, man. If you're able to go out here and win multiple divisions as a world champion, it matters. You know why it matters? Because we have a name, we have a fighter that's still in the sport by the name of Manny Pacquiao. And I guarantee you, it's a lot of people that's on this live right now cannot tell me. It's not more than 5 people that can tell me, okay, in his first 3 divisions, name me somebody who stands out to you. Name me the Hall of Famers Manny Pacquiao. We're talking about a Manny Pacquiao who was KO'd early in his career. Name me in his first 3 divisions, who did he fight? 4th division. Please name me that. Because the only thing I hear when it comes to Manny Pacquiao is 8th division, 8th division. So if that's the language that you're going to use, then we need to use that shit for Terrence Crawford too. Because the last time I checked, Errol Spence is a single division unified champion. Why are we continuing to bolster his resume as if he's a multi-division champion, if he has the WBA title already and Terrence Crawford is ducking? Why are we acting this way? That's not even competence. You're not even registering competence when you talk like that. It ain't shit you can tell me. Nothing. You cannot tell me any logic as to why Errol Spence, who he's fought. The bigger names from Kell Brook, the Sean Porter, to Danny Garcia. You cannot give me Mikey Garcia's name moving up. I don't want to hear no Chris Algieri. And though I respect them guys, Lamont Peterson, I respect them. But we're talking about fighters who are considered to be somewhat great, right? I think that's a hypocrisy in itself, because there's no way that fighters who are seeking to be great can fight killers. You know what I'm saying? Every time. It's no way. It's no way. It's no way that you can have a fighter up here that's top pound for pound, and all they're doing is fighting killers. Right or wrong? You tell me. Is it a possibility that we can have a legitimate number one pound for pound that's facing killers back to back to back to back to back? How many titles should a fighter have that we're ranking in our top 5 pound for pound or our top 2 pound for pound? How many divisions and how many titles should they have? Because I can't sit up here and play dumb. And nor do, sometimes I just don't have, I care enough to care less with debating with certain people who's going to tell me and try to convince me that Errol Spence should be ranked higher than Terrence Crawford. Because we all have an opinion on who's going to win. I say Terrence Crawford beats Errol Spence. And then some people are going to say Errol Spence beat Terrence Crawford. I know that. And it's nothing wrong with that. I respect you in that. But I respect that. But when you start talking about pound for pound, and most of the people that's in the top 5 have more than. Canelo have more than. All right. And he has one loss to Floyd Mayweather, one of the best to ever do it. So he's top pound for pound. He has more than. Inoue has more than one division. He is a 3-division world champion. He's currently unified. He's due to face John Casimiro in 2021. Okay. Then we have Terrence Crawford, 3-division, formerly unified, undisputed, more than one division. Alexander Usyk has more than one belt in a single division, but it's a heavier division. And plus, he's a neighboring fighter, and they just want the freaking put somebody up there as a marker. I don't know what the fuck he's doing up there because he don't have a belt in the heavyweight division. So I guess they're waiting for him to step in there with Joseph Parker. I mean, not Joseph Parker, Anthony Joshua. And hopefully he could get a belt off Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? Why he's on the pound for pound list, I don't fucking know. He has more than one belt in his last division. And then behind Alexander Usyk is Errol Spence. Now this is going to fuck you up. Errol Spence is in a single division and he's currently unified, right? But yet he hasn't did enough to be in front of Alexander Usyk. We're just talking about the ring. They don't care enough to move Alexander Usyk behind Terrence Crawford and move him next to Terrence Crawford on the pound for pound list. And he doesn't even have his belts in the cruiserweight division no more. Why is that the case? We're talking about a single division champion both ways. Alexander Usyk is former. Errol Spence is current. Alexander Usyk was undisputed. Errol Spence is unified. He's talking about being on the verge of unifying the 147-pound division, right? But Alexander Usyk did. He was successful at unifying the cruiserweight division. Now, we also have to take in consideration, does anybody give a fuck about the cruiserweight division? Not really, but it's there. Once again, heavier divisions. The lowest, look, like I said before, you find a single entity In a lot of divisions, that's the top pound for pound list. You got Nue, and then you have Vasily Lomachenko. Nue is the last remaining dragon that's sitting up there. He's the last one. Then, you're skipping divisions. You got the welterweight division. You got the heavyweight division. And then whatever the fuck Canelo Alvarez is doing, where he has 60, 68, 75, it don't freaking matter. He's doing what the fuck he want to do. But that's how it is. So let me get some of these comments. He said, I do agree Spence has more to do than just beat Bud to get pound for pound. Mitch say, T.O. got Loma in his 15th or 16th fight. Thurman wouldn't touch Spence. And it would have been great if Terrence Crawford, Keith Thurman, and Errol Spence had fought one another. Those are three top names there, Mitch, in the welterweight division to determine and kind of thumb it down just a little bit more to who's the best in the welterweight division. But unfortunately, Keith Thurman lost to Pacquiao, who's way past his competitive edge, but he was able to beat Keith Thurman. But between Crawford, Keith Thurman, and Errol Spence, neither one of those guys has fought one another. And at one point in time, Keith Thurman was a unified champion. So he should be given another shot to do something with a bigger name, whether it's Errol Spence, but Crawford. But once again, Errol Spence is like, fuck that. I don't want to goddamn talk to Keith Thurman. I mean, all the whininess. What is going on with this whininess from Errol Spence? He don't want to fight nobody, dog. Like, just because Keith Thurman did you like that, now that you're in a position, you want to do the same thing? Fight the man. If you can go in there and wash him. Bring some Dove soap, goddammit. But don't, stop just saying that, nah, man, fuck him. He didn't give me the shot. I ain't giving him the shot. Dude, he's already been where you at. He's already been unified champion, Spence. Understand that shit. Bud number 1, Spence 3. Beating him is arguably number 1. Canelo needs a dance partner. Canelo has had a dance partner. Another guy that was in the top pound for pound list. Just ask Jim Lampley. Oh, Canelo lands a 4-shot combination. He didn't even land shit. He may have threw 4 punches, but all of them didn't land. But per Jim Lampley, god damn. But I don't know how, Canelo went twice with Triple G. Triple G is 41-1. He has 1 defeat to Canelo. He has 1 draw with Canelo. That has to say something. You know what I'm saying? You got to give him some credit for having a dance partner. A dance partner does not mean you have to go to a trilogy, because that's not even the case. You just don't have trilogies at this point in time. So a dance partner is a reputable opposition that's also ranked high, that the boxing community respect, and also has a respectable record. And we all know that Triple G, what he's been able to do is 60. We all know the 2 fights that him and Canelo had. So he's waiting for that trilogy, man. So they're going to keep him on the top pound for pound list. Just like they robbed Sergey Deryanchenko, to keep Triple G with the IBF and the IBO. Anyway, lead division when he just started getting the big fights. My question is, who did Crawford beat to unify? Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who he beat. Look at the rankings of Julius Ndongo. Look up his rankings. You can't say who did he beat. Look up the rankings. He had the belts for a reason. If he was champion and Crawford beat him, just because he's not a popular fighter doesn't mean he wasn't a champion. Certified in the books. And Ndongo was a champion. Two, has he fought anyone thought to have a chance versus him? Okay, I can see where you're going with that, Jeffrey. And 3, has he ever fought an A-class opponent, which probably is more part of a question too. So peep this, right? When people say, has he fought anyone thought to have a chance? Isn't every fighter that's in the ranking system or steps in there that has the opportunity with a champion? Don't y'all, in one reference, y'all say, oh, they have a puncher's chance. But then you get questions like this and say, who has a chance versus him? You can't say that in hindsight on who had a chance because they've been beaten. They go in there and they're able to drop Crawford like green beans, right? Kavalauskas. Did he have a chance? Yes, he landed the chance. Was he able to finish it and zip it up? No, he wasn't. Did Felix Verdejo have the chance? Yes, he did. Was he able to zip it up and mail it off? No, he wasn't. So the fighters have a chance. They said the same thing about Roy Jones Jr. He never fought nobody that was, that was on his skill level, and he hasn't did. Man, come on, man. Understand this about boxing. It's not full of killers. It would never be that way. You know why? Because we don't have a laboratory that's cloning motherfuckers to be boxers. Inject him with serum number 1-36. That is the gorilla portion. Silverback. Yes. We're going to line them three up with the silverback serum. Next, we want to bring on the Tyrannosaurus Rex. We're going to take that chromosome and inject them with here. Those 5 over there. They're not making bodies like that, people. They're not. It's impossible for boxing to be full of killers. So now we have individuals that's going to say, who have they fought? Who have they fought? Remember, I said it. Boxing is not a full lineup of killers. So in that perspective, you're going to have some fighters that either rise to the occasion or they crumble. They step up to the stage for the opportunity and they fall short. It's going to happen all the time. We need to get that through our heads. It's going to happen. Boxing does not consist of a murderous row of killers. Y'all know that, man. Y'all smart, man. J8, Inoue is overrated to me. And you know what, J8? That's your opinion. I get it. But he is a multi-division champion, J8. He is a multi-division champion. So whether he's overrated or not, it brings me to this right here. You know, here reading you say that Inoue is overrated. Do you know people are more inclined to defend Inoue, who sits behind Canelo Alvarez, but they won't defend Crawford off the rip like they do Inoue? And just the question that you just said, you're questioning like, who is he fought? We know he just knocked out Jason Maloney, but come on now. We know he went the distance with Nonito Donaire. All right. Who we looking at? Juan Carlos Payano? So no one really questions Inoue's resume, but they just know he's there because he has that wicked alias monster. But like every time, we're not in a sport of murders. We don't have a murderer's row. So when he went the distance with Donaire, guess what? People's like, I don't know if that's monster or not. I don't know. No, Donaire is legit. Donaire is legit. He's just the older fighter. And knew he went life and death with Donaire was like 40 had been stopped before. Same as Pacquiao there, J8. Same as Pacquiao. Nobody mentioned that. Pacquiao has been stopped several times. No one mentioned that. You know what they mentioned? Well, Pacquiao, he's 65-7. He's 70 and 80. You know what I'm saying? They like, he's an 8th division champion. We know all that shit. We know Pacquiao's an 8th division champion. He's a legend of the sport. But along the way, he has failed and fallen in adversity. No, hardly anybody mentioned that. They just say, hey, he's an 8th division champion. But what about this? He's an 8th division champion. But what about the bro? He came from a little bit over 100 pounds all the way up to where he's at. Man, he's an 8th division champion. Give him his respect. They be defending Pacquiao. But anyway, we talking about Spence. We talking about Spence, man. For me to understand pound for pound, there are people on the list that are not multiple weight champions. So why are they on the current list? A good question. That's all I'm asking, Ken. That's what I'm asking too. Since when does pound for pound go for vacant titles? Hey man, we are not living. Look, Jay, a good damn question. We are not witnessing or supporting a sport that are full of killers in every division. So therefore, we're going to have individuals that vacate titles for whatever reason. And if a title is vacant, why not fight for it, dog? Why not fight? How is somebody, look, do you want it to be sent to you by email or do you want to fight for it? Once again, do you want it by email or do you want to fight for it? Because either way, you're going to get more respect from stepping in there fighting for a vacant title than to check your inbox. New message. WBC World Championship has been delivered. Enjoy. I won't penalize Spence for campaigning at 147 for so long. He will move up eventually, but credit is given for being champ in most divisions. I agree, Mitch. That I agree with. We have to have a consistency here. How are we going to rate these fighters in the pound for pound that's have a single division, who have this amount of titles, who have that many divisions, who if they fought is going to be the bigger denominator? Let's narrow this down to the denominator on who have they faced in the ring. And then those individuals they have faced, who have those individuals faced that considered them to be great? Who are they? Lawrence Wilson, I care about the cruiserweights, but I'm different. I never said that no one cares about the cruiserweight. Cruiserweight is not a division that's talked about on a regular basis. It's plenty of us that cover boxing that checks into the cruiserweight, but we don't stay there long. We might look in through the window. Oh, shit. Okay. All right. Let me keep it moving. A new age shouldn't even be there. It is low-key Keith Thurman fault holding up the division, then losing to Manning. You know, they allowed him to hold up the division. They allowed this man to be injured without stripping him, knowing that he wasn't coming back. They allowed him to extend that period of being on the injured reserve, the IR, or the freaking whatever list, it's called. They allowed that shit to happen. Any new blood at CW doing anything? Hey, Smoke. That's a good damn question to you, Lawrence. I ain't gonna lie, man. That's a good ass question, man. Seriously. Pac-Man ATL in the building, man. What's good? Pac-Man say, how is Bud number one? Explain that. I want to know too. How's Bud number one? Because I didn't say he was number one. I was asked several times, who's my number one pound for pound? I go off the criteria of my, what I assess them in boxing. And I just don't see how, if Canelo Alvarez is doing what he's able to do, okay, and then y'all see him doing it, and now he's about to step in there and face Callum Smith, then guess what? Who would have thought he would have went from 60 all the way to 68 to 75? Don't matter who he fought, he was able to get it done. Don't matter he fought for a regular title at 68, he got it done. Don't matter he went up there and fought Sergey Kovalov, who was a little bit older. That's a multi-time champion. He got it done. And not only that, he stopped them. That got to be some criteria, people. They got to stand for something. Color Local Sports, fighting Keith is non-productive now. Fighting Pac-Man will be since he is needed for Undisputed. Absolutely, he's in the quota, man. He's in the quota. Pacquiao is in the quota, the championship quota, and whoever's trying, it's only one champion right now in the welterweight division who's trying to lace up the Undisputed title. That is Errol Spence Jr. Pac-Man or Bud is fine for me. But Pac-Man first that way, Spence versus Bud is for Undisputed. You know, on a perfect day, that would be great. But once again, a division champion, you have people that's looking at the Filipino nation and they say, you know what? Errol Spence should just go ahead and fight Terrence Crawford and then Pacquiao. Who wants to pay for PPV, right? And I'm pretty sure Spence ain't gonna care about it because either way he would have had two big paydays, right? So check this out. If Spence goes up here and fight Terrence Crawford, let's just say, for instance, he wins, and then he gets Pacquiao. People are actually saying that him facing Pacquiao would do bigger numbers than him facing Terrence Crawford, knowing that Pacquiao is going to be 42 years old this month. That's how much respect they have for Pacquiao, knowing that Errol Spence is going to defeat Pacquiao. Now, you know how he can make a third check? If he do the Anthony Joshua method, lose his titles, and then come back for a rematch. That'll be 3 huge checks at welterweight. That would have been 3 hard fights back to back. You would have had Crawford, then step in there with Pacquiao, lose his title, and then come back for a rematch. If you want to play the system like Floyd Mayweather did with Marcus Maidana, then that's how you do it. It's the perfect time because then the Filipinos, you know, that support boxing heavy, they will look at it like, yeah, you know, and then they'll get Manny Pacquiao to take the belts home. He would be the WBC, IBF, and WBA champion. Man, he'll be taking all these media, you know, photos and doing all these interviews. But they have a rematch, though. So he comes back for a rematch, and they hit him in the pockets again. Errol Spence gets his title back. Now, he would be 2-time unified champion. You know what I'm saying? If they truly want to play the game in boxing. Because I truly feel that's what happened with Joshua and Ruiz. Real talk. But anyway, that would be the way to play the system. If Errol Spence indeed dropped his belt to Manny Pacquiao in an Undisputed and then came back and picked him up. Because Manny Pacquiao, man, he gets the royalty treatment. And this dude's had 7 defeats. But let's get back to reality. Everybody wants to see. No. I can't say everybody because that's not true. A lot of individuals will like to see Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford for the Undisputed titles. Because they're both at the age where they're competitive equally. So people will say, oh, I don't know who the fuck is going to win. Who's going to win this? Is it going to be Terrence? Is it going to be Errol Spence? Which one is going to? It will give us more of a dilemma to say, damn, I'm pondering hard. I have a headache. Who's going to fucking win? Who do I put my money in? I got to call up Pac-Man. Pac-Man, who you betting on? What's your feeling like? What's the vibe you get? Who you think gonna win this fight? But when Pacquiao and Errol Spence, the betting odds, it's not going to be something that you would get from Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get the betting odds, you know, like freaking Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua. Because everybody know Errol Spence is going to fucking beat Pacquiao. Errol Spence is going to beat Pacquiao if they face off. But I don't want to see that for the Undisputed and then Errol Spence going up to 154. I don't want to see that. I really want to see a dog fight between two of the best pound for pound. It's just temporary. It's just the temporaries that's talking when they say, oh man, you know, Errol should go ahead and face Bud. And then, you know, it should be Crawford. It should be Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao in the Undisputed. That's because you just don't like Crawford. You know what I'm saying? You just don't fucking like him. So you're gonna be like, yeah, he don't need to be in the main event for the undisputed. Fuck that. Let Errol Spence go over there. I'm telling you, Errol Spence goes over there ahead of time before Pacquiao. I'm telling you, it ain't gonna work out like you think. It's not gonna work out the way you think. That's a huge risk, and it's a reason why the procrastination meter is high the way it is. That's not an easy fight. So if Errol Spence want to sit up here and say, I fought better foes than Crawford, well, you're gonna have to prove that shit. Keith need to climb back up. He took a L, beat Ugas. Canelo won both fights, in my opinion. Yeah. We really can't talk about Canelo right now like that. That's a whole nother live. Pac-Man say Thurman made him wait. Had no opponents at one point before he got injured and took a year off. Fuck Thurman. Yeah, man, I understand what you feel. That's the same thing Errol Spence said. He say fuck Thurman. He ain't getting no love. He didn't look, it was a point in time on national TV, he wouldn't even look in Errol Spence's direction. And when he decided to address a grown ass man, he said, you know what? I used to see this little boy, and I say, you know what? He gonna be special. And I just thought that was disrespectful. I was like, motherfucker, I get some scissors right now and cut your ponytail off. Just like you cutting the tail off of a pit bull. And you talking about you raising a game. You're gonna raise the next best pit, but yet you go cut their tail off. That'll make his ass lose equilibrium. You cut off Keith Thurman ponytail for being stupid. Spence Crawford is what we want. KT is an afterthought. Yeah, but somehow, some way, man, I hope it's able to play itself out like you just mentioned. Put Keith Thurman on the burner, let him sit, and then we know we're going to get Pacquiao. We just don't know with who. Pacquiao has the other medal, the other stone to the motherfucking glove. And it's who gets there. I can't say who gets there first. I don't fucking know who's going to do it. It seems like freaking Errol Spence may get it. They pushing Errol Spence to get it. I'm telling you, they may be pushing Errol Spence, and then, we heard that Crawford's trying to fight Pac. I really want Terrence Crawford to fight Manny Pacquiao. Why? Because it would be the best name on this resume. All right. He would have did it first. Errol Spence won't have Pacquiao. Terrence Crawford will. So therefore, Terrence Crawford go in here and knock out Pacquiao. Then he has 2 belts, and they can head into the main event for undisputed 50-50 with 2 straps. It shouldn't be about money then. It should be about the glory of the sport. And goddamn it, we don't want to hear damn 60-40. We want to hear 50-50. Let's sign the motherfucking deal and let's go. Y'all top pound for pound. Stop crying about shit and damn go ahead and challenge yourself and see if you that man. Period. Because one thing I can say about Terrence Crawford, he's been calling it out. He's been calling everybody out. Let's go. Let's go. Even when Errol Spence jumped through the ropes on the post Sean Porter fight, he still didn't get the fight right away. Sean Porter was like caught off guard, and he's like, we definitely gonna make this fight happen. But it didn't happen next. You know what I'm saying? It didn't happen. So I commend Terrence Crawford showing up to the Errol Spence fight, but not getting in the ring. Because it makes no sense for Terrence Crawford to go to the ring and split the ropes, and then Errol Spence say some stupid shit like, man, you're not handling this the way it's supposed to be professionally, man. What is this supposed to prove? Why are you in the ring? Why are you stealing my glory? We're going to make the fight happen when I say it happen. I don't want to hear that shit, dog. You and him are top pound for pound. Let's go. J.A. said, Pac-Man facts. And Dongo ain't shit. You know that. I almost knocking Dongo out Hey man, Pac-Man, I gotta say he had the belts, dog. And look, Pac-Man did chop him up with a right hook. He almost knocked him out in the first round. Now, if by chance he would have been able to finish that, he would have did it quicker than Terrence Crawford and Regis Prograis. I'm telling you, if he would have stopped Indongo in the first round, he would have had some bragging rights. Right or wrong? I'm serious. Because Regis stopped him in 2 and Terrence Crawford stopped him in 3. Yeah, absolutely. Alexander in the building. What's good, man? Somebody said, get this smoke. Teofimo undisputed. Oh, that's Grogan. What's good, Grogan? No Tio ain't undisputed without Devin Haney. Unify only till he stopped ducking Devin Haney. There we go with all this filtration. We ain't gonna make this about. This is a welterweight live today. Don't let me start on Devin Haney, bro. Lion Killer Podcast, what's good? Y'all make sure y'all pick up and subscribe, man, to Lion Killer Podcast. Lewis say, tell them again, WCS, killers are rare in boxing, or at least not as common as they say. I repeat, an underscore. Killers are rare in boxing, or at least not as common. That's all I'm saying. We don't have a full lineup of killers, a certified killers in boxing. You're just never going to see that. In boxing, you have more fighters instead of finishers. Man, you speaking that knowledge now. You dropping some gems right there. I don't think Devin Haney has the power to finish Teofimo, but if he hit and run, Haney might outpoint Lopez. Devin just doesn't sit on them punches like he needs to. Oh, yes, he does, Lewis. He sits on them. They just soft. He sits on them, but they just can't get the job. He's not blessed with that pure power. Better resume versus class fighters, Crawford or Spence. Better resume. Listen, Crawford is a 3-division champion. His resume isn't all that. Neither is Errol Spence. But what I can say, since welterweights, look at how many KOs since he's been to welterweight. Look at his KOs. I can't say look at Errol Spence KOs on his 4th fight at welterweight because he was moving up the chain. You know, he was still fighting individuals that didn't matter. But we're talking about right now, right here, we're talking about Terrence Crawford feeding Jeff Horn, who was undefeated. Defeating Joseph Benavidez, who was undefeated. Kavaliauskas, who was undefeated. Come on, man. You got to give him credit for defeating these undefeated guys, even though they're not household names for the hardcore boxing fans. Come on, man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't freaking matter. Their resumes are balanced almost the same. Don't come telling me just because Danny Garcia has a good resume, Errol Spence defeated him, and now his resume is much better. He got Danny Garcia, he got Sean Porter, Errol Spence, Chris Algieri, Mikey Garcia, Lamont Peterson. Man, come on. Who's a Hall of Famer tomorrow? They quit boxing today. Who's a Hall of Famer? Terrence Crawford. Who's a Hall of Famer tomorrow? Who has the better boxing career? They stopped fighting today. Terrence Crawford. Thurman is a great opponent for Crawford. Even coming off a loss, losing to Pac-Man got Thurman more fans. I personally want to see Thurman versus Crawford more than Porter versus Crawford. That's a tight one, man. The only reason I don't want to see Thurman in there because of how he treated his fight against Pac-Man and how he looked against Josecito Lopez, rather. It's just like I know what I'm going to get from Sean Porter. You know, I know that. He a dog. He's going to bring it, man. I give him mad respect. Thurman, he's not a slouch, but the man took off from boxing forever and a day, held up the division like was mentioned earlier, up there eating ice cream on the night that he's supposed to defend his title against Pacquiao. He didn't take that shit serious, man. He cashed out. Keith and Kyrie Irving boxing, too injury prone. Damn. Thurman fights like everyone every once in 2.5 years. I agree he's a good name in the resume, but I am not interested in him anymore. He had a good run, past tense. I agree. I like Keith Thurman's energy to promote a fight. I do. I like one time. I like how he went in there and fought Danny Garcia, Sean Porter. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at one point in time, he gave us the one time, but that went to some time and then no time when he was on injury reserve. I agree Spence has fought better foes than Crawford. I don't think he's fought anyone as good as Crawford, though. He has fought better at welterweight for sure. True words right there. Gems, man. Good shit. I look at it like this. When you say Spence has fought better foes than Crawford, who defeated those foes? Who has more O's on their resume? Crawford or Spence? Crawford. We want to talk about names, established names in the welterweight division, then guess what? We can talk about that. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about names who are familiar. If Kell Brook, who got his ass beat by Gennady Golovkin, would people be talking about him all the time? Even though he did lift the belt off Sean Porter, okay, but he lost to Errol Spence. There comes a point in time where we have to look at his last performance and we have to say, dude, I mean, what's moving forward about Kell Brook? When you say Errol Spence resume is just in the sky over Crawford, are we talking about Sean Porter? What two fighters elevate his resume? Because once again, we're talking about multi-division champion, and we're talking about a single division champion off names that have already lost. Danny Garcia had losses. Sean Porter had losses. The one little O that he can give credit to is Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia came from 35 to 47. Scoop that Cheerio up. Well, we can't say Kell Brook. Did Lamont Peterson have an O on his record when he fought Errol Spence? I mean, doesn't an O account for anything when we're judging resumes? It has to, people. Taking someone's O has to account for something. It has to be in the literature. Once again, undefeated records mean something on people's resumes. And the last time I checked, Terrence Crawford was shutting them down. Oh, he ain't nobody. Oh, Terrence Crawford shut him down. Jeff Horn, he may beat Pacquiao. He ain't nobody. Boom, gone. Next one, gone. Another gone. You know what I'm saying? He shut him down. He finished Kell Brook in better fashion than Errol Spence. As much as I don't like to use that shit, it's true. I agree Spence has fought better foes than Crawford. The big networks and the big promotion companies always want the most bang for their buck. They don't want to sit behind a desk, which gives us a big debate until they say, okay, let's do it. I mean, they really just start, to be honest, during the pandemic is really when YouTube media, they really start paying attention in a sense. And I don't think, you know what I'm saying? Like, listen, it's different between Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, because Floyd Mayweather was a big name and Conor McGregor was a 2-division champion. So them talking back, forth, getting the people hype, it didn't take much because they had Dana White behind Conor. And then, of course, Floyd Mayweather had his name and his brand, and that was the easy shit to make. But I haven't really seen another fight of that magnitude make it to the stage based off social media banner. You know what I'm saying? I haven't. I cannot just put my finger on a couple of channels that have created a fight and it's actually taken place and did great numbers. I don't know where that's at. I haven't seen it. That don't answer the question. At W says he sits and his punches, they're just soft. Yeah, I agree. He does. He sits on his punches, they just soft, man. Real talk. Who has future Hall of Famers on their resume? Spence or Bud? Who has future Hall of Famers? That's not a tough question. You know what I'm saying? I would say right now it would be Spence. All right, because if you look at Danny Garcia, first of all, we understand that you don't have to be undefeated to get in the Hall of Fame. Okay. Let's just get that straight. Okay. So let's start with Danny Garcia, 2-division champion, but he hasn't beaten a champion yet in the welterweight division. Give or take, goddamn 2065, he might be in the Hall of Fame. Okay. Can we say Keith Thurman is a Hall of Fame because he was unified? I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't know, man. Chris Algieri, who's a nutritionist, I don't know, bro. You see what I'm talking about? When you start breaking down these resumes, it's not a killer's row. Damn good question. Very good question, but it's still a maturation process that hasn't been completed. To answer that, I'm talking about answer it to a point where you respect what I'm giving you in response. We can't sit up here. Who the fuck is on Errol Spence's resume that's a future Hall of Famer that we can talk about right now in a single division? Off 2 titles. Because we know Sean Porter's been a 2-time world champion. We know Keith Thurman has. We know Errol Spence has. But Terrence Crawford has been a multi-time world champion. And he is a multi-division world champion, and it's nobody else in the welterweight division that compares right now to his resume when it comes to the division he's been a world champion in. Nobody. Besides Manny Pacquiao, who's an 8th division champion, but guess what? Manny Pacquiao has 7 freaking defeats. He's still a Hall of Famer if he stops right now, right here. But I just want to ask you how many divisions out of 8? I'm just asking the question. How many divisions out of 8 has Manny Pacquiao been undisputed? It's just a question. Just a question. How many divisions out of 8 has Manny Pacquiao been undisputed? Sean Porter is a higher level of competition than Terrence Crawford faced in his entire career. We know that. I'm just trying to peel back a little bit more of the onion to, like one fighter on your resume though. Like, I know the question was presented as far as future Hall of Famers. And we know Sean Porter, of course. I mean, that's easy. Like, I agree, Smoke. Like, Sean Porter is that guy. Absolutely. Of course. The names he's been able to face. He's been in that damn near with majority of the people, the Danny Garcia's, Kell Brooks. You know what I'm saying? Of course, Errol Spence. We know that. Yeah, but that's one fighter. But my dilemma there, Smoke, is when we are considering great, isn't great considered like it was back in the day? We know what the risk that you're willing to take, what your achievements are, what did you try to accomplish that was outside of the average? That's what I'm trying to say, Smoke. Like, Sean Porter fought at a heavier weight. Even in the amateurs, he did. People talk about, who he fought in the amateurs and all that. But since you've been in the professional ranks, why are these fighters just in a single division? When they fought at a heavier weight outside, and then some of them started at a heavier weight in the inception of their career, And they drop down to the current division they're at, and they haven't even made a move to do anything more. Like, you're in your 30s. When are you planning on making a move? Y'all answer that. Like, if they fought at a heavier weight in the amateurs, came in the professionals, and fought at a heavier weight potentially, and then dropped down to the current division they're in, why haven't they moved up? If they have became world champion, why are you campaigning or moonlighting in the same division when you have the opportunity? Sean Porter's on the WBC and the IBF title. Why haven't you aborted, left, relocated, foreclosed, and moved on to a new home? Why not go up to the 154? Why not? I know what Spence waiting on. He's just waiting for his boy Jamel Charlo to drop those belts at the perfect time so he can fight for a vacant title. Same shit Canelo's doing. But no one's gonna get on Canelo Alvarez for fighting for that vacant WBC belt. You see how he scooped that shit up? Canelo Alvarez is being smart. He's doing that Floyd shit. He's being smart. He's gonna move up there and face Callum Smith for the WBA World and the WBC World title. That's smart shit. And zero don't mean nothing if you take it and they haven't beat anybody. It doesn't matter, Jeffrey. Listen to me, Jeffrey. Know this. And this is not strictly directed at you, but a lot of you all don't clearly focus on how boxing is cultivated from the ground up. All right. It's just like a garden. The seeds are planted. All right. They're sowed in the garden from the bottom up. At the bottom is where all the grime and shit, you have to goddamn make sure you break up the dirt all nice and good. But then when the vegetation and everything starts to grow, people are not really paying attention to it. They just see it out there. You don't really pay attention to it till it start really get us at a certain height, right? And this is what I'm saying about boxing. You don't really start to pay attention to it until it start putting some numbers on there. And you might have this prospect that's fighting on Top Rank or Showtime that may be 3, 4, 5-0, but they're fighting on TV. And you're like, oh, okay. We see them fighting. All right, cool. But they're growing. They're growing. You know what I'm saying? They're growing. They're getting exposure. They're getting the radiation that they need. And by being on national television, they're growing. But then you got another person that's doing the exact same thing as this fighter on Showtime and Top Rank. They 5-0. They're fighting fighters that's unknown. That's not really a big deal. But they're not on TV, but they're still growing. That is the damn deceptive part or the darker side of boxing when it comes to how boxing is cultivated from the ground up. I've spoken about this several times before. A lot of people don't attend amateur fights. A lot of people haven't really sat through a 13 to 15 fight card. A lot of people really haven't seen some of these cats that's off the street. As long as boxing continue to approve individuals that put down the PS5. Oh, for real? What time I got to be there? What time we leaving? All right. Damn, let me stretch out. What my weight like? Let me see. Let me check them on the scale. Okay. You got fighters that's getting off the fucking couch, putting the controller down and going in there as a professional fighter with no amateur experience, stepping in the ring on weight and picking up a check, and they're on somebody's resume that you might witness on TV when they're about 8 to 10-0. You're looking at the bottom of their resume. And be honest with yourselves, people. When you look at these resumes, you're not really paying attention. You're just looking at the numbers. Oh, debut. Okay. 0-6. Okay. 2-4. All right. 3-3. 4-5. 6-3. 7-11. That's boxing, y'all. Y'all shouldn't give a fuck about who if they fought. Because once again, I say boxing will never, ever, ever be about straight up killers from the mud all the way to the top. You're not going to get it. So why ask about who they fought? It don't matter. Boxing is always approving people to be professionals without even having one professional fight to their name. They have to pass medicals. Once they pass medicals, they step in the ring against someone who's raising their record up, building up their record. They go in there and get stopped in the first or second round, go home to the showers. Oh, I got a fight next week. Okay, cool. Boom. They back in there. And by the time you know it, in about 2 months, this person done went from 0 to 0 to motherfucking 5-0. And believe me, 5-0 sounds a lot better than 0-0. What's your record? 5-0. For real? Oh shit, you undefeated like that? Yeah, man. You to the casual, to the temporary, the motherfuckers ain't gonna check your record like that and say, okay, who he fought? You ain't expecting him to have Shakur Stevenson on that motherfucker. You expecting him to have some soft touches. You know what I'm saying? Some ragu. Motherfucking Italian meatballs in that bitch. You ain't expecting him to have Shakur Stevenson on that bitch and say, oh shit, he fought Shakur already? Professional is professional. It ain't no, hey man, you beat Shakur Stevenson, but they didn't put it on your box rec. Why? Oh, because they're trying to raise Shakur Stevenson as the next big thing. So they didn't want that loss to be on this record because they're trying to build him. No, that's not the case. Stop it. Tom Squash was undefeated against Fury. Yeah. Tom Swartz, right? Who the hell is he? Except Fury's crush. Fury had a crush on Swartz. Milo Grogan Smoke said at Milo Grogan, people who say so, I got $1,000 bet he won't be defending the WBC belt in his next fight. Who are we talking about? I guess I missed that question by Milo. He won't be defending the WBC belt in his next fight. Oh, you're talking about Canelo. If that's the case. Sean Porter cannot compete at 68 in the pros. You don't know what he could do. Seriously. Isn't that what he competed in the AMs? So why can't he compete? Isn't the amateur supposed to prepare you for the professionals? And then when you get to the pros, you decide which weight class is comfortable for you to compete in. I mean, that's the realest as it get, y'all. You come over here, you test the waters. Some people come over here and they pretty much understand, you know what? I'm gonna compete right here. I feel good. This is where you look at who's where you going. You look at your itinerary. You look at the names on there. Okay, let me see that. And you start doing process of elimination. If you that good, you really don't give a fuck. You say, okay, you know what? We're gonna get these amount of fights out the way, and then we're gonna tap into a top 15. Okay, now we're gonna tap into a top 10. But some people come over to the pros and they don't feel right at their weight class, and then they drop down. But answer that question. These names that we're talking about, future Hall of Famers and all that in the welterweight. Just help me understand. Why haven't they moved up? Errol Spence came in at 54 and dropped to 47. So your goal right now is to become undisputed. Okay, good goal. But you're 30 years old. So you need to get it done in the next 2 years. And what happens if you don't get undisputed? You should take your ass on up to 54 and try to get those belts. At least you can get up out of here as a 2-division champion. Because I really don't see Errol Spence going to 60 unless, we have some names pop up. I don't know, man. It's dependent on the individuals that's in the class at the time. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, Jamar Charlo is up there. You have Andre. You have all these names. We have Gennady, but no one's giving a fuck about the 160-pound division. So guess what? Errol Spence might be able to go up to 60. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? How boxing works. Some of these guys is at 54 is going to move up to 60 in the next 3 years, 2 to 3 years. And you got some solid names at 54. I'm just listening to y'all talk, brother. I box amateur, worked as media, etc. Been a part of this sport close to 40 years. Outstanding, Jeffrey. Salute. I mean, I don't know who you're addressing with that, but I don't think I said anything that was out of the ordinary. I'm not sure, but salute to you for tuning in, bro. Milo was talking about T.O. being undisputed. So I have $1,000 that no WBC would be defended in T.O.'s next fight. Hey, nobody expects Teofimo Lopez to lose against Kambosos. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I mean, unfortunately, people are going to make a big deal out of the friendship belt. Okay? But what you cannot deny is that Teofimo Lopez defeated Vasily Lomachenko. You can't deny it. But, you know, when it comes to Errol Spence, man, he said get a belt. I said it before. He said get a belt. He said it when they met up in person. Everybody was talking about the $1 million bet. Bob Arum deck. You know, both sides are there. They got their people with them and all that shit. And Errol Spence said right then and there, Sean Porter got a belt too. And then Terrence Crawford's like, oh, you know, he kind of laughed. Oh, so they didn't mention my name. And why wouldn't I go the easier route and face Sean Porter and knock him out? Excuse number 2. He has so many excuses. And then let me just fast forward to recently about Bob Arum on the post-fight of Kell Brook. The man went in there and stopped Kell Brook better than you, and you get on here talking about, well, I don't want to talk about what Bob Arum said, but the proof is in the pudding. The proof ain't in the motherfucking pudding. The proof is when you ink the contract there, Errol. Let it dry, and we can officially say you and Terrence Crawford are going to fight. Until then, you're just making up fucking excuses. And then the worst one of all, Errol Spence, is the fact that a grown-ass man who's a 3-division champion who competes in the same sport as you do, he shows up to your fight. He's not even down there on the floor like the Charlo brothers. He's sitting up there chilling, talking on the phone, doing whatever. And somebody asks you, you want to say, I don't know what he was doing at the fight. He came to be seen. That's what he was doing at the fight. And he didn't even jump through the ropes and make a spectacle of it all. He just showed his face because the cameras was going to do the rest of the work for him. I'm going to this fight so I can be seen, and that's that. Can't nobody do shit about it. But for Errol Spence to speak like he just got out of the anesthesiologist, and he's waiting for that shit to wear off. I don't know why he should just stick to his word. You know, he should just stick to his word. You know, why he at this fight? You know, I don't show up to his fights. You know what I'm saying? If he was on the playground, I wouldn't go to the playground and jump on the swing set. I just wait till he go, and you know, I just go to another swing set. I mean, come on, bro. Come on, Spence, man. What the fuck you doing, bro? Man, come on. That's one thing I can say about Terrence. Terrence do grown man shit. Being with your family is grown man shit. Rolling with your kids is grown man shit. People frowning because he ain't freaking out here in the streets for the culture, right? But he doing grown man shit. I am convinced that the boxing community will embrace the one who is out here fucking up more than the one who is basically walking a straight line and keeping themselves out of the spotlight for the wrong reason. Real talk. Boxing fans will support the ones who takes the L outside the ring. Has you ever noticed that? The ones that take the L out the ring, they get more fucking support than somebody like Terrence Crawford, who's always, I've seen it for myself, always deep, Family first. Family first. Family fucking first. Family first. How long had he been with his wife? How many kids he got? And people up here talking shit because the man rolling with his kids? But you got people out here doing shit, being intoxicated in front of the camera, talking about they started boxing in 2015. Man, come on, man. Damn near lost his boxing career. Now all of a sudden they want to find something to get behind. That's just I think that's the point. They haven't found, even though Terrence Crawford was shot in the head, people don't talk about that shit, right? But with the boxing community, it seems like they need something damn near tragic to get behind a fighter. They need to see a motherfucker in the hospital to get behind a fighter. Somebody said something that was... Ken said, Michael Lewis, salute. T.O. does not have to defend the WBC because he is the franchise. Correct. But more so people are understanding that he doesn't have the WBC super title anyway. Secretary Exactly Smoke said, I bet 100,000 on that motherfucker. I bet one band, goddammit. Sir Ken Exactly fam, T.O. in the driver's seat. This is what's funny. You were saying Crawford beat Brook and better than Spence. Yet leading into the fight, Bomac, Crawford's own trainer, is on record saying he was shot and blind. What does that got to do with me, though, Jeffrey? What does that have to do with what I said? I could care less what Bomac said. People were saying the same sentiments when goddamn Errol Spence was stepping in there with Kell Brook. They were saying that, oh, he was getting damaged goods from Gennady. Who gives a fuck what Bomac was saying? He's saying, okay, so-and-so was shot and blind. Okay, what were they saying when Errol Spence fought Kell Brook? The same shit. Gennady Golovkin beat the shit out of him. He's damaged. And what happened? He goes to take a knee from his other eye, swelling up. I really can't speak too much on that because I get where you're coming from, Jeffrey, but that's pretty much irrelevant to what I'm talking. Seriously, that is. Franchise is not recognized by any sanctioned body outside the WBC. Facts. That's facts right there, man. It's gems. Crawford even asked him if he'd be able to make it to the ring. Yes, I mean, come on. I'm not saying look, understand one thing about when you in the live chat, in my live chat with WCS, right? One thing I always say, if you're going to quote public freaking record to me, what do you want me to say? If they said that shit, you want me to debate it? That it didn't happen? That's public record. That's public record. I always say that shit. Motherfuckers go in here, goddamn, they'll copy and paste shit in there. That's public record. If he said it, okay. If Crawford said, look, boxers say a lot of shit, but it's all about what their performance grade is once they go in there. Did they get it done or not? Did they end up like Felix Verdejo or they got the job done? I'm just saying. Pinkerton in the building. Salute to you, man. Appreciate you pulling up there, Pinkerton. Get this smoke. Your bet consisted of the WBC, though. Yes, it's almost like a trick question, though, because people don't too much consider the WBC franchise as a WBC. So if I'm correct, I bet it won't be for the WBC because that's in the hands of Devin Haney. You need the WBC belt to be undisputed. Exactly what I thought. Without even reading the comment. As Sir Ken, salute to you. Society has a long love affair with the screw-ups over a straight shooter. Bud is a man amongst men, and he's black, and they don't want to promote that. He's a black fighter. Errol Spence is black, but Bud is one of those guys. I'm telling people he's athletic. He's more athletic than Spence, in my opinion. Even though Spence has been relatively, trying to pick up a different hobby, going to horse auctions and stuff. And look, horses are therapeutic. I like it. But even if I had millions, I don't think horses would be on my property. You know what I'm saying? At one point in time, while the horses are grazing, they have to take a shit and they had to pay somebody to clean that up. That's all I'm saying. At Michael Lewis, Crawford got to start facing guys the level that Hagler beat before I begun to consider that coming. Jeffrey, listen, bro. You have to understand this. And all of this entirety there, Jeffrey, you have to understand we're not living in the Marvin Hagler era. We're in a whole different boxing era. We have social media now. We have boxers who are coming up different. We have different type of promoters doing shit different now in boxing. Did you not hear me about the cultivation of boxing from the ground up? All of that shit has changed a little bit to the point. They're constantly filtering fighters in who aren't really fighters. And the ones who are in the amateurs doing it the right way, they're going to have some of the off-the-couch PS5 practitioners on their record because it still counts as a win. It still counts as a professional win. It doesn't freaking matter if they just put down a controller. If the shit say debuted, they happy. Shit, I got one on the debut. Cool. I'm straight. What's my record like? They put that shit on Box Record? Okay, cool. I mean, that's all they worried about. Until you get to a certain level of 8-0 or whatever, then people might start to say, okay, start tightening up that record. But even then, if you have fought the cans all the way up to then, and you've had an easy go, then it's going to get to a point where you're going to have to buckle up once you face top competition. Else you're going to wind up like the Alfredo Santiagos, the Kavalauskas. You're going to wind up like the individuals who sit up here and has own their record, but have pretty much built it up off soft touches, man. Charmin. He said, I only spoke of your bet. For me, Spence and Crawford are sitting around hoping to get Manny. Why not? Why not, Ken? That is the ticket for both. Get Manny Pacquiao. I hope Crawford gets Manny Pacquiao. I really want him to get that WBA belt. Yes. I'm tired of hearing Spence talk about all these excuses. I want Terrence Crawford to get that WBA strap. Now we get mano a mano, the creme de la creme, top pound for pound. Boxers in the sport facing off for all the crowning jewels. That's what I want to see, man. That's what I want to see. I don't want this shit to be about money. Smoke said Crawford said he wouldn't fight Spence, even if he met him an offer. But Spence ducking. Crawford and Spence looking for Pac, but Spence ducking. Crawford said it's business and nobody is ducking. Look, Crawford saying what he said as of recent, I think is more so impulsive than him just responding to the bullshit that Spence has been regurgitating. I think him going off on social media and then him and Spence talking on the phone, he said, hey, you know what? Spence a good dude. We're going to make the fight happen. And then, we thinking that they're going to make the fight happen. But recently, yeah, Crawford came out and said, okay, if it's going to be 60-40, it's going to be in my favor. He said that because he's probably tired of Errol Spence talking that shit. If it's going to be 60-40, it's going to be in my favor, else I ain't going to fight. Of course he's talking some bullshit. It's mind games. But I don't compare what Crawford said recently than what Errol Spence has said, get a belt from the inception of him entering the division all the way up to now. It's been too many lines, the 9 line of excuses, you know what I'm saying, from Errol Spence. Yes, I agree with what you said. Crawford has came out of his mouth with some shit. But I truly don't believe that Crawford is the one up here not wanting to fight Errol Spence, and neither is Crawford claiming that he wants to be undisputed and move up to 54. It's Errol Spence. All those names of gatekeepers who need Bud to get their careers going back in the right direction. I know what's going on in the sport. And the record always been part of the sport. What you said has no bearing on what me and my. Okay, whatever, bro. I'm not here to debate with one person unless it has something that's conducive to what I'm talking about. I obviously you say you've been part of the sport for 40 years or whatever the case may be. Kudos. I do want Bud to fight Porter just so we can see how the fight differs from Spence versus Porter. I do want Bud to fight Porter. I mean, just say for instance, Porter steps in there with Crawford, right? Let's see hypothetically there, Mike. He steps in there with Crawford, and then Porter loses. Porter would have lost to Kell Brook. He would have lost to Keith Thurman. He would have lost to Errol Spence. You see where I'm going with this? On the back end, he would have lost to Crawford. So what is going to come out of the mouths of the Bud haters in saying that he did what everybody else was doing? I mean, I understand people saying, I want to see him face that pressure. Even Roy Jones said that. He said, you look at the video, Roy said, I want to see him face Sean Porter because I want to see how he handled pressure. I get it. That's respect for people have for Sean Porter because he's always going to bring it. Whenever he decides to switch it up, that's absolutely on him. This is what I mean. Sebastian Formella, Danny Garcia, and Yordenis Ugas. We've seen a very marginal performance from Sean Porter. All right. That's because he chose to. So he goes here and fight Terrence Crawford. Are we going to get the Errol Spence Sean Porter? Or are we going to get the Sebastian Formella Sean Porter? That's all my question is. Both fighters said they aren't ducking, but fans know better. Michael Lewis, he has an opinion, and I respect it, whether I agree or not. Thurman is past tense. Porter is the only relevant name that you name. Hey, Porter is damn near past tense too. What do they have in common? What do they have in common? Because Sean Porter stepping in there with some of the top tier names and losing. That's just fact. So you say he's stepping there with Danny Garcia, but Danny Garcia didn't have an O on his record, right? But he stepped in there with Sean Porter and he lost. So let's just look at it in a different way. Yeah, Danny Garcia was able to fight Eric Morales, who missed weight, for the vacant. Then he fought Amir Khan. We all saw what happened there, but it wasn't the first time Amir Khan's been slapped. So he unified the division, defended his title a couple of times, several times, whatever, right? And then tiptoed up to the welterweight division, fought Robert Guerrero for the vacant. And then he went on to defend it once and then stepped in there with Keith Thurman. Okay, got it. But you see the commonality, you see the tread. We have Danny Garcia, who hasn't taken a belt from anyone at welterweight, but yet there were actual individuals saying that Errol Spence defeat Danny Garcia. He's pound for pound. What in the fuck are you saying again? So a guy that loses to the top names build up their value. They increase their appraisal as a fighter increases. So you're saying Sean Porter loses the top names and you keep tossing him around like a low price hoe? His value increases? But the one who's staying undefeated, like Terrence Crawford, multi-division champion, you want to say, who has he fought? And we should be asking the question, who has Sean Porter, Danny Garcia fought? You know what I'm saying? And who have they beat that was ranked in the top in their division? Have they been able to defeat those guys? Now, once again, I give them their credit for the resume. Of course, the names look good on there. But let's be honest. People will bolster up Danny Garcia's record. But come on now. Come on, man. What has he been able to do at welterweight now? Come on, man. Talk to me. Who has he defeated for a belt? This man, Danny Garcia, I believe he's fought for 4 vacant titles. Let me see. Kendall Holt for this WBC Continental, I believe. And then I think he fought for the vacated WBC with Eric Morales. And then he fought Robert Ghost Guerrero for the vacant WBC title welterweight. And then he fought again. He fought like 4 vacant titles. But yet we had people up here saying, you know what? If Errol Spence defeat Danny Garcia, that places him at the top of the rankings. God damn it. I'm sure of it. I'm sure of it. Come on, man. And then with Sean Porter. What makes a fighter great? Come on, man. Y'all got to talk to him. What makes a fighter great, man? Fighting fighters who's been in there with top name and losing, or the fighters that keep an O on their record and continue to win. You say they ain't fighting nobody, but the ones who you say they should fight has lost to all the big names in the division. So if Terrence Crawford defeats Sean Porter, then what? He's defeated an opponent that his compeer, Errol Spence, has already defeated. He defeated Kell Brook. Errol Spence did too. He defeated freaking Sean Porter. Okay, Errol Spence did too. What's next? Let's fight Danny Garcia. Errol Spence defeated him. So he's always going to be playing catch up and second fiddle when it comes to the goddamn stage show. So I think Terrence Crawford should do what the fuck he's been doing. I think he should fight whoever's up next, whether it's Manny Pacquiao, do that. And sooner or later, he's going to get the fight. It doesn't matter. He can fight his mandatories. Fuck it. Why continue to fight fighters that Errol Spence has defeated when you don't have shit to prove to Errol Spence? You're more experienced than Errol Spence. He has 37 victories. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. If I want to be petty, he has more knockouts than Errol Spence. To me, he has more technical boxing skills and his cachet than Errol Spence. That is true. Terrence Crawford has more technical skills in his cash. He said, thank you, WCS. That's my point. Porter is one fight away from being a gatekeeper. I love his pressure, and he's from the street, but he came up short too many times. That's all I'm saying, man. Sean Porter has a name that shines, that stands out, a starlight in the welterweight division. But come on, man. How many fights he got to lose with top names before we stop saying, well, Errol Spence fights Sean Porter. His resume is better than Terrence Crawford. Who gives a fuck? Who did Sean Porter defeat leading up to Errol Spence? Danny Garcia? Because when it comes to Danny Garcia, he has lost to big names. Just because Errol Spence haven't fought Keith Thurman, that still doesn't mean anything. That doesn't give Danny Garcia any more credit because he stepped in there with Errol Spence. He stepped in there with the Unified champion before Errol Spence. Keith Thurman was unified before Errol Spence, and he was defeated. So how in the fuck can Errol Spence become pound for pound when Keith Thurman has already did what freaking Errol Spence has done? How is that possible? You finally caught up. Kudos. You finally caught up to Danny Garcia. You finally caught up to Errol Spence. That's on Keith Thurman. Not Errol Spence. You finally caught up to freaking Danny Garcia and Sean Porter, who Keith Thurman has already faced and beat. Kudos. But the loss that was on their resume was active when you stepped through the ropes to face Errol Spence. So what has Errol Spence did so spectacular? I mean, I try my best not to bring up Mikey Garcia because, you know, that was his first fight at welterweight. Yeah, Mikey Garcia is a future Hall of Famer. But then again, don't come to me with the petty shit and you want to dog out Terrence Crawford's resume at welterweight, but yet you're going to give Mikey Garcia all the accolades. Oh, he's a 4-division champion. He faced Errol Spence right off the rip, lost, went over to Jesse Vargas. Come on, you got to give Mikey some credit. He was daring to be great. Come on, man. Boxing does not consist of a murderous row of competitions for your top tier names who are competing at the highest level right now. It's not that way, people. And when we figure that out enough to speak on it in a genuine manner, then, you know, it'll be more respectable dialogue amongst these boxing channels and shit, because you get too many people that's leaning to a certain fighter and they want to sit up here and say some bullshit that's so fictional, and they don't even want to damn peel back and dissect what they're saying. The first thing they want to say, they want to latch on the narratives that are being pushed, and they want to say, well, Errol Spence got a better rating than Terrence Crawford, better resume. Okay, that's your opinion. Well, Sean Porter. Okay, just like Mike said, Sean Porter is a fight away from being a gatekeeper in the only division he's contended in for a champion. Danny Garcia is already a gatekeeper. He cannot get it done. Danny Garcia and Sean Porter in the same motherfucking canoe. No, it's not completely out the question. Crawford versus Porter, but like WCS is saying, what if Porter loses again? Jeffrey, Michael, you know that saying, if was a fifth. Well, if was a 6, 7, and 8, that's fact. How many times he have to lose? If you've been in the sport as long as you say you have, then you have to hold yourself accountable for jumping on a live and not understanding what the facts is. Jeffrey. If Spence fights Pac next, who is Crawford going to fight? Collazo? So if you're a Spence fan, say you're a Spence fan, but obviously you're not media, like you say you're media, because in my perspective as media, you got to somehow dichotomize it and split the two together without extreme biases to the left and the right. So obviously, if you're leaning for Spence, then just say you're a fan, but don't sit up here and say you did media before just because you went up here and interviewed one of your favorite fighters from the hometown. I don't get that vibe. Okay, Jeffrey. I don't know who Bud can fight at this point. That his name and legit. Who gives a fuck who Bud fight? We want to see one freak. No, we want to see 2 fights from Bud. We want to see him get Manny Pacquiao. And that's just me. I'm not saying that for everybody. I want to see him pick up another title, 2-2. So we can go into the negotiation process and we don't have to hear Spence whining and shit. I think for real, 60, 35, 60, 20, let me see, 70, 10. Man, come on. I don't want to hear that shit no more. Make the fucking fight, dog. Mikey faced as many 147 champs as Bud has. But check this out, though. They're not giving Mikey Garcia credit for stepping in and facing a champion there, Smoke. I'm speaking about whenever the conversation goes on and basically highlights Bud, no one is talking about the champions. Neither did I. They're talking about resumes, strict 47 resume. What is his resume? They ain't talking about champions, even though you're correct. We're not talking about freaking champions. We're talking about resumes. Mikey Garcia's resume doesn't even compare. He came up there and he's 1-1 right now. What is Bud? What is Bud at welterweight? 5-0. 5-0 or 6-0? I know he's undefeated. He's undefeated at welterweight. Somebody correct me. What is Bud at welterweight? What is his record? Is he 5-0? Spence don't want it with Bud after the Pacquiao fight. Spence might still duck, but regardless, if he did, he can't duck. He can't duck because now he has the public believing that he wants to become undisputed. Look at that. He goes and he's, the article is out. He said, I'm on the verge of cleaning out 147. All right. So with that language that he's using, there has to be a pathway because verbiage is only going to go so far before it absolves, evaporates, whatever you call it. And then you have to really take a stance. So what's next? How are you going to clean out the 147-pound division without going through Crawford? Because God damn it, I don't see anybody defeating Crawford before Errol Spence comes over there and start talking about facing Crawford. What he's going to do? Talk himself up there? He's going to try to he's going to try to go to the public and criticize the shit out of Crawford. He ain't fought nobody. He ain't fought nobody. Look who I fought. Look who he fought. The proof is in the pudding. Yeah, look who you fought. Yeah, let's see who you fought. Real talk. Carlos Ocampo. Yeah, look who you fought. Best fight to date, in my opinion, was Sean Porter. But that was even close. And thank God you got a knockdown. I give you credit for getting a knockdown in the eye of the storm. I give him credit. But come on, don't act like you was for sure you was winning that fight. Take away the knockdown, you have a whole different result. Sean Porter, that's not selling tickets or proving anything other than did Bud beat him more convincingly than Spence? It's not really enticing for me. We link up on that. I'm just trying to get to the people. I'm just trying to say, like, what is going to be the narrative? Hold on, let me get some. I got to get my water right quick. Hold on. All right. You know what it is, D-Ray. Jeffrey say 5-0 or whatever versus who. All you gotta do is look on BoxRec. It'll tell you what you need to know. All the names, the list of names is there. All right. So you can start from fight number 1 all the way up to fight number 37. And it will tell you once you enter into the welterweight division, which is 147-pound weight limit, you'll see who Terrence Crawford fought. You don't have to ask me. You know what I'm saying? Do your homework. SB90 in the building. What's good? Salute for keeping it real as always. WCS, you know what it is, man. Appreciate you pulling up. D-Ray was Jeffrey just talking for real. I think he just wants to argue. Yeah, man, you know how people have the luxury of hiding behind accounts, and talking about you've been in boxing 40 years, but yet you up here leaning towards freaking Spence and not really talking in an open way. That's one thing I can say about, really, a lot of people, you can tell they actually understand how to have a boxing dialogue, and the ones that sit up here intentionally trying to argue. I'll debate about some shit, but I'm not gonna sit up here and argue. I don't like arguing. It's a difference between arguing and freaking debating. Whenever I care to, okay, cool. I give you a little bit. That's it. I got time to waste. Michael Lewis, I have an opinion. Man, Jeffrey, come on, man. You messing up the live chat, bro. It don't matter about the caliber, because if that's the case and you really want to talk about the caliber, you should go back to fight number 1, right? Treat it like college. Treat it like college. Let's thumb it. Let's just thumb it all the way down. Start grading every opposition from their first fight all the way up. Create a metric that suits you and grade every fighter from fight numero uno all the way up to the current fight that they have. Grade that fighter. Even the fighter that's 2-16, grade him. Find the fight footage. Do your research and give them a grade from fight numero uno all the way up to the current. Because like I mentioned earlier, boxing is an open door turnstile. It allows fighters to become professionals without any amateur experience. As long as that door continue to swing the way it is, right? There's going to be people going through that door just to make a living, just to pick up a check. So you might have the same name of a fighter who is 0-10 on some of these fighters who you are looking at on TV. It doesn't matter unless that fighter potentially faced them more than once. They can face fighters one time with an 0-10 record, and people are not going to talk too much about it because it's building up their career and it's at the bottom stack of their boxing ledger, right? But guess what? There's plenty of them. That's plenty of them being grown every fucking day. Time they reach the age, this motherfucker get their license, they pass medicals, they smoke one. What time we gonna glove up? Okay, coach. All right, I'll be outside. Go in and get this check, man. I gotta go back and get me some good shit. Coach, how much I'm gonna have left over when I pay y'all? I'm gonna have 700. All right, cool. That's enough for me. I already told him, be ready. When we get back, it's going to be a 4-hour trip. When we get back, I'm getting me another bag. Shit, this is good shit. So his right hand is the power hand, right? Okay, I'm going to be waiting on that motherfucker. Time he hit. Pop, I'm going out. Fuck it. I ain't going to stay in there for overtime. Longest boxing allows individuals to compete with absolutely no freaking experience. There will always be at the bottom half. It will always be enough food at the bottom half of the boxing, at the boxing feeding table. It will always be something there for the catfish. Those boxers who are out here building up their resumes, just eating the scraps. And that's what it is. You have two sides. You have a boxer that's building up their resume off a check. And then you have the ones that plan on making boxing a legitimate career. And they're just building up they're building up that resume with some subpar names to work on their skill set until they start to improve their competition. Then it gets a little bit more serious. That's damn near everybody. I can't say it's everybody, but it's damn near everybody. For real. Like how Spence won't fight Crawford. And Spence goes to the cards against people he was supposed to wash. We have yet to see him versus fighter anyone thought realistically had a chance. Because they running a Bud knocked him out. Mean Machine versus Porter. That's a good undercard. Michael Lewis, salute to you, D-Ray, undercard. So we're still talking about, him fighting somebody that realistically had a chance. And like I said earlier, most of the fighters that are on fighting these fighters on that level supposed to have somewhat of a chance. When they go out here reaching down in the barrel and pulling out these mandatories and these goddamn number one and all this other shit, we know whenever they wants to switch and change it up, they can find a name. They can get you a body to step in the ring with you. Carlos Ocampo. I showed up to the fight to see damn Yellow Beezy. It's on me, baby. It's pop, pop. Fight's over with. I'm like, what the fuck? I came 12 hours of this shit. Javier Fortuna quitting against Adrian Granados. And then Spence walking out there with Yellow Beezy. It's on me, baby. I don't sleep, baby. Pop, pop. Carlos Ocampo landed a 2-punch combination. Spence knocked his ass out. Fight over. Seriously. Come on, man. Terrence Crawford stepped up to the welterweight division and he freaking stopped Jeff Horn. Manny Pacquiao couldn't stop Jeff Horn. So you think Manny ain't thinking about that? Huh? You think Manny ain't thinking about that? Well, Crawford stopped Jeff Horn, which he roughed me up. I don't like it. He stepped through the ropes, fight rough, dirty tactics. That's not how I do it. I have morals and principles when I fight. But yes, Crawford did stop Jeff Horn, and I didn't. I lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. You think Manny Pacquiao ain't thinking about Terrence Crawford stopping Jeff Horn, which he wasn't able to do? Last time I checked, Manny Pacquiao didn't stop Jeff Horn. Crawford did. If you want to compare, that's real. Terrence Crawford stopped the fighter. Manny Pacquiao did not. So do you truly believe if Manny Pacquiao in his political as an elder statesman right now, because he is an elder statesman, right? Do you think he's not cogitating? Hey, bring in those two people. I want to ask you a serious question. If I had to choose, do you think I should fight Errol Spence first or Terrence Crawford? No, Terrence Crawford. No, Bud. Errol Spence, he likes going the distance. At least you can go the distance. Go Errol. Yes, go Errol. Go Errol first. Because you go the distance, Manny. You still got to go back and be a politician. But with Bud, no, Manny. You may go to sleep for weeks. You might not remember that you're a politician once you wake. You might be one man, one Marcus all over again. We don't need that. We love you, Manny. Go Errol Spence. Spence. You go the distance. Hey, what's going on, firm mentalists? Spence hasn't changed the skill, the character, nor the power to last 12 with Bud. Okay, speak up those words. Speak up those words in all caps. I see you. Okay, Jeffrey. See, I love, kicking knowledge to somebody who's been in the game. But you're talking like a temporary right now, Jeffrey. Tim Tszyu stopped Jeff Horn. What weight division was that, by the way? Jeffrey? You keep on talking like this, Jeffrey. I'm going to tell you, hey, I know them butlers supposed to get time off on the weekend, but you're going to work all the way through the weekend. You keep putting dumb content in my live chat. What weight division was that? What weight division did Tim Tszyu stop Jeff Horn? How is it even relevant to what I'm talking about? Because we are basically encapsulating the welterweight division right now, right? We're basically been talking about the welterweight division, and you come over here talking about Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu stopped Jeff Horn. What weight division? Was it welterweight? Does it have anything to do with the equation of Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford? Just please press enter at the bottom. Put your answer in below, please. Explain what Tim Tszyu has to do with this conversation. Verge is getting off the easy road. Thunder from down under. Junior got potential. See, Mike. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it should be, and I'm letting them flow, man. It's Monday. I'm letting them flow. You know what I'm saying? But there's no way he's convincing me he's been in the game 40 years. Maybe 40 plus hours. 40 plus hours. He looked at a YouTube video the day before yesterday and said, oh, you know what? Let me get on one of these channels and talk some boxing. I'm going to be saying some dumb shit. But let me just get on here and stall some time, Let me talk about Tim Tszyu, stopping Jeff Horn, which has zero to do with the topic at hand. We're not talking about the super welterweight division. Is this a dark ages of boxing with a monopoly of the sport's only hope of reform? Rest in peace, Uncle Phil. Yeah, for real, Grogan. See, Grogan understands. That's what I'm saying. Grogan understands. I don't have to break it down like I'm doing with Jeffrey. No. Don't even try it. Don't sit up here and say you messing with somebody. No, bro. You brought that into the damn conversation, which was absolutely, like Stephen A say, asinine, 10, 11, 12, for you to bring in Tim Tszyu stopping Jeff Horn. See, people be trying to test you when it comes to boxing, man. You are sitting there. You have all the tools and resources. The first resource is your ears, okay? And then your second one is your fingers to basically fact check anything you want that I'm talking about. Everything I say is not going to be perfect, but all you have to do is just look it up, and then you can drop your shit in there. Say, okay, you was wrong on that. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks for freaking dropping that info. Appreciate you. I like him, to be honest. Jeffrey, funny. I'm at work milking the clock anyway, so let's just play along. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's just play along. Greg, he only 23, but been in the game 40 years. Yeah, for real. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, man. We want to look at it like this. Everybody on the thumbnail is looking at Spence like they're crazy. Real talk. Seriously, bro. They looking at him like, come on now. Come on, man. You're on the verge of doing what? Let me help you out right quick. I need to help Spence out. All right. Let me help him out right quick. This what I need to relay. Verge, the definition of verge is an edge or border. All right. So just briefly break this down. An edge or border, the verge. When you say the verge, he was on the verge of falling off the cliff. That means he had to be damn close to the edge to fall over and damn near lose his life. Errol Spence is far from the edge of anything when it comes to the welterweight division, especially coming off that fight with Danny Garcia, especially when you have two other champions out here to pick up the titles for, which isn't going to be easy. That means in order for Errol Spence to maintain a timeline, check this out there, people. Okay, rock with me on this, right? Check this out. Spence, his people has been on record saying that Spence is going to fight 3 times in 21. Who? That means 3 times in 21. 2 of those, in my opinion, has to be Manny Pacquiao or Terrence Crawford, or it's gonna be Manny Pacquiao and two other people he just pick out, and then he's gonna try to pick up. He's gonna try to pick up Bud Crawford. Once he have another birthday, who's gonna be those three opposition for Errol Spence? Who is Errol Spence? He say he's gonna fight 3 times. Who? You trying to tell me you're gonna fight Danny Garcia, Manny Pacquiao, then Terrence Crawford? You're gonna go down the pipe like that, because that will put you in somewhat of a greatness. You know what I'm saying? People will start saying, God damn, this Errol Spence defeated Manny Pacquiao and then went over there and fought Bud next and defeated Bud. That can give people to understand, like, damn, okay, Errol Spence better than what we thought. But look, listen to me. I'm here to tell you that isn't the case. I'm being absolutely honest. That is absolutely not the case. I don't see Errol Spence going into 21 and fighting 2 heavy hitters right off the rip. That being Manny Pacquiao and the next one being Terrence Crawford. I don't see it. And also his hashtag man down on WCS is now man up. Yeah, that's my hashtag, man up. That's my hashtag for Errol Spence, man up. Because one thing we truly understand is that we need to see an undisputed, just like Errol Spence mentioned. And we're not seeing that. We won't know until these guys sit down and put pen to paper. Hey, I totally agree, man. I totally agree. Michael Lewis said, sober up. God damn. See, I'm trying to be a good host, man. I'm trying to keep it respectful. But dang, the hashtag sober up came out. And you know, I look, a lot of people say, man, look, this is where it goes, right? People say, man, you shouldn't mess around like that, man, because he almost lost his life. I get it, but he placed himself in a position. I did a lot of dangerous things in life. Running bikes is as dangerous as it get. It absolutely is one of the dangerous things you can do. And I've experienced accidents on that side. But people intend to kind of put Errol Spence's situation with him recovering in the hands of God overlooking him, and now he is considered a freaking saint among all saints. You know, he's been basically saved by the hands of God. And I always ask people, say, if God's been around before Errol Spence had that accident, why wasn't his hand there to say, no, Errol, not today. Not today. Don't get behind the wheel. Have somebody as a DD, designated driver. Do not get behind the wheel. People, and when it comes to religion, people will try to cut you off at the neck. But I tell people all the time, God was here before that bad incident happened. So when you sit up here and put everything on God, was he not there before it happened? So don't really put that in the forefront and saying, well, you should be, man, hey, he gonna, I'm a, rebuke. God's gonna kill you. Look, come on. I'm not even gonna get into that. That's a whole nother lie, man. No more roadblocks to the fight. I'll be greasy for you. Yeah, do that, man, for sure. For real. Groger said Yellow Beezy should have called them an Uber. Hey, man, when you have followers, hanging with followers, they just like that carousel. You know what I'm saying? When you went to that carnival and hopped on that carousel, did you actually believe there was going to be one real horse on that motherfucker? Seriously, when you was riding the carousel with damn horses on, did you say, excuse me, can I have a real horse, please? I know there's poles running through the horses so they can go up and down, but do you have a real one on here? Is one of these trains, can you actually start it up? I just want to smell the coal burning, get the real effect here. You didn't say that, right? You didn't. So when you got a lot of followers in a group, all they do is just circle the wagon all the time and do the same shit. And some of them afraid because they don't want to say, you know what? I don't want so-and-so going off on me, man. I don't want to be, let go from the circle. I love this. That, you got to speak up. But 2021 people, I'm telling you, it's going to be very interesting. And I hope that a lot of Errol Spence fans join the live and you all take a lot of what I said and understand some of it's coming true. Seriously, all you have to do is look at the thumbnail. Some of what I said is going to come true. I believe it. Errol Spence, you return to the ring. You survived the car accident. You're blessed. But when it comes down to boxing, somebody needs to provide you help, just like this on the palm nail. Somebody need to help Errol Spence out because right now, all this freaking back and forth, making excuses. You said you wanted to unify the welterweight division. God damn it. Let's see you unify the welterweight division. That's the only thing we want. We don't want to hear shit else about what Bouhairie say. We don't want to hear people constantly coming up with new shit for Bud Crawford. Bud ain't locked up in jail. He's not out here getting strung out on drugs. He's not doing any of that. But what he is doing is calling your ass out. So therefore, you need to come up with find that yellow sticky pad and put you some motherfucking goals, some daily goals up. And work your way, dog walk yourself into existence when you want to talk about challenging Bud for that WBO title. Just motivate yourself. Just put those little yellow stickies up on the wall each and every day. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Yes, I can do it. I can do it. Go out to the pastures and talk to the horse. Mr. Ed, can I have a conversation with you? Do you think I can beat Bud? Give me your honest opinion, Mr. Ed. Just tell me, just keep it raw. Do you think I can beat Bud Crawford? The horse ain't going to give you the truth because he ain't trying to become a goddamn Wendy's burger. He ain't trying to goddamn have you walk him out to the far side of the pasture where he done seen some of his friends get put to rest. He ain't going to tell you what you want to hear either. He gonna say, yeah, you should fight Bud. Hi, I'm Mr. Ed. Oh, shit, man. Y'all need to stop fucking around, man. Man, Spence, man, it's only a matter of time. 2021, he says 3 opponents, let's go. That's all we need, man. Real talk, dog. That's all we need. We need that shit right there to happen. One other thing, if y'all don't already know, man, Shakur Stevenson, him going the distance with Toka Conclari, dude is a problem. I have to make mention of this because it was funny as shit. Like Jamel Herring, right? We know, they have familiarity and the same cohabitation in the fight camp, out there with Terrence Crawford and all that, right? But I respect what Shakur Stevenson said about, being a fighter, at the end of the day, it's business and he has to take care of business. And I believe him when he says that. Do I believe Jamel Herring would step in the ring with Shakur Stevenson if he's lucky enough to beat Frampton? I don't know, man. I don't know. But what I do know is Shakur Stevenson real soon in 2021 is going to be a junior lightweight world champion. Seriously. At his age, Shakur Stevenson is going to be a two-weight, however you want to say it, two-weight world champion in 21. Guarantee it. I got mad love for Shakur Stevenson, how he's recovered and carrying himself, how he approaches the game of boxing. The man mental blade is sharp Oh my God. That shit is fucking serrated, dog. Shakur Stevenson, when he talk about the boxing game, it's no hesitation. It's none, dog. When Shakur Stevenson is asked a question, you get what you ask. Just like his friend Josh Gridger, both of them answer correctly right away. Teofimo Lopez, same thing. But with Shakur Stevenson, man, he tells you what he's actually believing within himself. He ain't telling you what the fuck you want to hear. He's telling you what he actually believes. And I believe in 21, he's going to be a two-weight world champion. While you still have certain people, and you look, it's only going to be a matter of time. Mark my words, people. It's only going to be a matter of time before Shakur Stevenson is on the pound-for-pound list. Watch what I'm saying. And it's still going to be people. Who has Shakur Stevenson fought? And you cannot deny if he's able to fight two of the people that's currently champions at 130, whether it's Jojo Diaz, whether it's Frampton or Herring, all right, whether it's Burchelt, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we know we ain't gonna get Gervonta Davis fight right now with Shakur Stevenson. I don't need to answer that shit. I ain't gonna answer that. But I'm telling you, if Burchelt defeat Oscar Valdez, will he get the fight with Burchelt, or will Burchelt move up and he fight Shakur Stevenson fight for the vacant? One of those champions is gonna have to see Shakur Stevenson in 21, and then it's up to him. I'm not sure if he's able to run the gauntlet, but if he's able to pick up a belt, preferably that WBO first, then who's next? He will have a choice between the WBC and the IBF, because goddamn it, I know Gervonta Davis is not facing Shakur Stevenson at 130 in 21. That shit ain't happening. If anything, I believe, I'm not saying Gervonta is going to vacate. I doubt it. I don't know. You never know, man. I don't know. But WBC, IBF, yeah. WBO, for sure, certain, he's going to pick that shit up. And then, goddamn it, at the end of 21, I don't know if I said this before. I'm not sure if Stevenson is going to stay, because he said, I believe he said something to the extent that he wanted to unify at 30. I'm not sure, but if that's the case, I'm ready. Because if Stevenson unifies the 130-pound division and then moves up to 35, oh my God. If he successfully unifies, I'm talking about undisputed, and then moves up to 35 and gets a title shot right off the rip with a big name. And by that time, to be honest with you, I think Teofimo Lopez will be gone already in 22. We're talking about 22, right? Tio might be gone already. I know Devin Haney them said they had a couple of fights remaining. It's dependent on if they get the Teofimo Lopez fight, right? So let's just say Devin Haney's on his way out the door. I'm not sure. He might stay around for a fight with Stevenson. I don't know. That'll be a damn good fight. But you'll still have Davis there, Ryan Garcia, Javier Fortuna. I don't really want to mention Luke Campbell. Okay, I know he's going to be hanging around. Jorge Linares is probably still be there. Richard Comey is due to fight Jackson Marinez coming up. That's going to be a good technical fight. Jackson Marinez don't have power, but of course he can box his ass off. Got pretty decent defense. And we seen that when he got robbed against Rolly Romero. So it's going to be some names there at lightweight, but not enough names to stop Shakur Stevenson from picking up a belt. Seriously, I'm just keeping it out thin. It's not enough people there at 35 and 22. If he chooses to stay at 30 the entire 21, and then at 22, let's say in the middle, he starts to move up to 35, I'm telling you, there's going to be some people in trouble. It's going to be some people in trouble. And then I look at him as potentially unifying at 35. It's possible. But we'll see what's popping, man. We'll see what's popping for real. It's going to be very, very interesting. And, you know, it's going to come a point in time where people are going to have to identify what Shakur Stevenson is doing when he's actually trying to be great. You know what I'm saying? He's actually trying to be fucking great. He's not homesteading at one division, hanging out. He's moving. Motherfuckers on the gas. And I like what I'm seeing. Even though he went the distance with Clary, it was an absolutely wash. It's a one-sided affair, y'all. It was like a sparring session. Even though Clary touched him, you know, with the jab, sometimes he was able to touch. It wasn't consistent. What's next for Felix Verdejo? I don't know. But that was the wrong fight for him to fight. That was the wrong strategy for him to go in there against a tough fighter like Masayoshi Nakatani. Now, I guess the narrative on these other channels that was talking about, you know, Nakatani whooped Tio in the first half. Tio got the job done. Felix Verdejo didn't. And that goes to show you how tough Nakatani is. He only has one loss. And when Teofimo Lopez faced him, he was undefeated. So what's next? Like I said before, what's next? You still got Nakatani to deal with too at the 135-pound division now. You know what I'm saying? It's some heavy hitters. They need to get their shit done before Shakur Stevenson can get up there. You know what I'm saying? All I have to say is if I was Errol, Bud, and Manny came across the table thinking that Manny may fight only one more time in PPV, I'm fighting Manny. Yeah. Look, you can't blame them for wanting that belt. You know what I'm saying? Hey, the same thing would go if Keith Thurman had the belt. One of them would be trying to face Keith Thurman if they want to become undisputed. You know what I'm saying? Just so happened it's the 8th division champion, Manny freaking Pacquiao. So therefore, why not Errol or Bud go try to get the belt? Why not? Like I said before, I'm not leaning towards Bud because I'm favoring him to beat Errol Spence. I'm going for Bud because I want him to have more leverage, equal leverage going into that undisputed title so we can make the fight happen. Because if Bud has 2 titles, Errol cannot come up here with them damn holstered excuses the way he does. Nobody wants to hear that shit. We want, okay, let's go. Let's make the fight, man. PPV. Let's make the and I'm pretty sure Errol Spence, well, you know, I want to go. It's gonna be in Texas. I'm doing it at Cowboy Stadium again. I'm the A side. I'm the A. That's all you're gonna fucking hear. I'm the A side. I'm the A side. I'm the A side. The A side. The A side. The A. Man, don't nobody want to hear that shit. I be in the building. What's good, man? Salute. Man, Crazy Robbie. I felt bad for brother Jackson Martinez. He won almost every round and controlled the fight. Yeah, man. And Rolly want to act different when he saw me in San Antonio. Them boxers be looking at this YouTube shit. Because he didn't know the people, his people knew my people. And then when they called me, hey, so-and-so, WCS, come up here. He said, do you know Rolly Romero? He's a champ. I said, yeah, I know him. And before then, Rolly told me I couldn't get an interview for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? So when he saw me, he's like, oh, shit. Man, this boxing world's smaller than I thought. I looked at him, I said, yeah, I know Rolly for sure. Yeah, I know him. Do you want to take a picture with him? That's up to him. That's up to Rolly. He may be feeling some type of way because he Rolly in a robbery. I say, Rolly. Man, god damn, Jackson Martinez beat you. And you got a goddamn gift. I know Gary Cap, but Gary versus Shakur. Hey, look, that would be a good fight. But one thing I know about Gary Russell off action, he don't seem like he's committing to leaving featherweight right now. That'd be a good ass fight. Nakatani would be tough out for anyone at 35. Hell yeah. Absolutely. But Verdejo had the wrong game plan, trying to stand in the pocket and bang with Nakatani. You stay in the pocket too long and allow Nakatani to touch you up. And then you want to load up on the right hand, just load up like Felix was motherfucking carrying groceries. God damn, I say, bro, stop loading up so much. Like, that's, you know how to box, Verdejo. Why are you just loading the fuck up? It takes a lot of energy missing those power shots. I think either Bud or Errol will concede some things for Manny if they get the fight. That's possible. That's possible. And why wouldn't he? I don't see Bud as an unfair individual. You know what I'm saying? But I can assume this. I assume that he's getting exhausted with all the bullshit from Errol Spence, for real. Verdejo has a great jab, Grogan. Yeah, he should have stuck with it. But time Nakatani gets anywhere close to him, he wanted to try to go for the knockout. I mean, he was loading up. Anytime Nakatani exchanged with him, he's loading up, trying to drop bombs. And you would have worked the jab, pop, 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 did the 3-punch combination just be easy, But when Nakatani understood that every time he was within range with Verdejo, he knew he was going to get that energy. He was pulling it out of him. He said, okay, he's going to load up every time I get in. So this is what I need to slip. And I need to keep my distance on this shot. He was pulling data from Verdejo. And Verdejo was giving him all the shit he needed. Every time he touched him just a little bit, Verdejo damn tried to load up and throw the most hardest punches possible. And that's what Nakatani wanted. Go ahead. Go ahead. Use up all that energy. Because I'm going to fuck you up at the end of the fight. Go ahead. He can sense that Verdejo was getting tired. He can sense it. Yeah. He fought a smart fight. But you want to hear something that's no cap? Y'all want to hear something that's no cap? I asked Roy Jones, right, this weekend. Shout out to the legend. Appreciate the interview. Had a grand time. Team Michael Williams Jr. Salute to the victory. I asked Roy Jones straight up, does Errol Spence beat Crawford? I asked him because I wanted to know. I say, Roy, who do you have? Do you believe Errol Spence can beat Crawford? This is no cap, man. He said no. That's coming from Roy Jones, man. That's just his opinion. He said no. And at the time, I wasn't hot because there was other sidebars in the room. So I said, you know what? They might keep on talking. Then, he settled back in watching TV. And then I just popped a question out there. I said, tell me this, do you think that Spence can beat Crawford? He said no. He said because, Bud has too many how did he say it? Bud's skill set. He has more areas to his skill set that he can source, whatever he chooses to use against Errol Spence. He's more diverse in his boxing repertoire, right? He said, but Errol Spence, he comes forward and he gives you what Errol Spence does. He comes forward, he popped the jab, he comes forward, and he tries to break your will. He tries to, disrupt your rhythm. He tries to break you down. And if you hit him, he has to come back and get you back. See, Terrence Crawford, he doesn't take that long. He said one thing about Terrence Crawford, he doesn't take that long to make adjustments. He said Errol Spence can go the entire fight and not make really any adjustments. He keep on doing the same thing over and over again. He said, but Terrence Crawford, he makes adjustments and he stick to those adjustments, You know what I'm saying? And if that doesn't work, he'll go to another adjustment and he'll keep on processing, switching it up. But yeah, I asked him that, man, and that's what he told me. No cap. I ain't got no reason to lie. That's real. I just wish I would have had it on motherfucking video. But you know, when you're doing those media scrums like that, you know, the interviews, you got to get in where you fit in, ask the questions. That's what it is, bro. I don't have no complaints, man. I don't have no complaints. Y'all be sure y'all check out my interview with Roy Jones Jr., man, on YouTube, man. Check it out. Check it out, man. And I'm waiting to see if I'm able to get in this fight camp of this individual. And you're gonna be shaking your head. You're gonna be like, God damn, he got in the fight camp of this. I'm hoping I get in the fight camp of this individual, man. It's gonna be, I can't imagine what's gonna go down. I don't know, bro. I'm waiting for the green light. I don't know. I hope I'm able to do media. I'm hopeful. I really do hope that I'm able to get the green light for this fight camp of this individual. Because within that fight camp is going to be other individuals that I'm looking forward to. So I'm hoping if I get the green light to cover them respectfully, I'm able to get some other good nuggets, some good shit. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlos Jackson, King Dynamite down here. He got a fight coming up in January down here in the A. You know, shout out to him. But yeah, man, I appreciate everybody who support the channel. Real talk. And continue to pull up, man. Subscribe. Man, the ones who push the button for those 16 likes, I salute you. Appreciate you coming into the damn live chat. D-Ray said, great interview with Roy. I appreciate it, man. Check out the interview, man. That's what I did before the pandemic. I'm out in the field, pull up, you know, not just here, you know, doing social media, man. I try to go on site and get as much shit as I possibly can. You know what I'm saying? It's hard work. I ain't gonna lie, you know, because whatever I get out there, I got to come home and edit that shit. And so that's why you didn't see me online, you know, because I was at the fight, you know. Michael Williams had his fight over there in Alabama. So I was there supporting the team and everything. We was rocking and rolling, having a damn good time. And yeah, wouldn't trade it for anything. It's a lot to be learned in boxing. So on my next live, I definitely have some other shit I want to talk about, you know, when it comes down to it. But I gotta bounce, people. You know what I'm saying? I've been on here for like 2+ hours chilling with y'all. But once again, man, it's always a goddamn pleasure. Don't take what I said personal, but turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports. You know what it is.
What up? It's your boy Roy Jones Jr. and right now you're tuned into World Combat Sports.